Can you hear me okay? Good. Let's wait a minute or two more. Mike might show up. Katya might come. No, second thought, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's have Lydia, if you'll give us the mandala in English.
In
I'm
English?
kidding. I'm kidding. You can do it in Russian.
Окей. Вот огромная земля, наполненная ароматами благовоний, укрытая покрывалом из цветов. Великая гора, 4 континента, украшенные драгоценными камнями, солнцем и луной. В своем сознании я вижу их раем Будды и подношу их все тебе. И с этим деянием пусть каждое живое существо ощутит чистый мир. Идам гуру ратна мандала, камнирья таями.
Okay, and Svetlana, if you could give us the refuge prayer.
I go for refuge until I reach enlightenment to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the Sangha, the community of realized beings. By the practice that I do, giving with understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with understanding of emptiness, patience with understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, may I reach the state of a Buddha for the sake of every living being. I go for refuge until I achieve enlightenment in the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the Sangha, the community of realized beings, by the virtuous merit that I create from the practice of giving with understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with understanding of emptiness, patience with understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, may I reach the state of a Buddha for the sake of every living being. I go for refuge to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the Sangha, the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit I create by the practice of giving with understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with understanding of emptiness, patience with understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, may we reach the state of a Buddha for the sake of every living being.
Very good. Okay. Well, it's going to be a short rejoicing session, I guess, but we'll rejoice anyway, because rejoicing is always fun. Okay, let's start with Shinar. Do you have anything to rejoice about today?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Venerable Sumati. I am rejoicing that I was able to make my husband to get his sleep studies done, so he can get a CPAP machine.
Oh,
And so he's able to do that, and he seems like so there was some he would stop breathing while sleeping, and he wasn't aware of that. So I'm in the medical field, so I suggested him if he can get some sleep studies. So it's confirmed there is some, he breathes some in a mild range, and he started using the machine, and it seems like it's helping a lot, and he feels much better. When he wakes up, he doesn't feel as tired. And of course, it takes time, but he's seeing improvement. So I'm glad that it's working for him, and he's okay using the machine.
good, good. You said you're in the medical field. What
I'm a
part of
medic. I'm a medical interpreter
Oh,
of video.
wow. Wow. Well, thank you for doing that. That must be very interesting.
Yes, it is. It is interesting. It is. It's there are like I mean, we get trained. We always have intensive training, but none of these diagnoses that people get, it's not written in books. It's not written in books. It's much more complicated and complex than it is in the books. So I admire doctors, how many years of training and studies they do, and it's not written in the books.
Right. Yeah. That's very, very good point. So how'd you learn Russian?
I was born and raised in Kazakhstan and in Soviet Union. So we went to Russian school. We spoke Russian, even though my native language is Kazakh. We spoke Kazakh language in my family, in my community. But university, college, and school, and everything was in Russian. So
how many languages do you know?
I speak 3.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
impressed. Okay, Anna, what do you have to rejoice in today?
Hello, dear Venerable Sumati. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me, I hope?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. About my rejoicing, I have pretty busy day today, but even due my job schedule, I found time for some volunteering for ACI courses. So I am very glad that it's like some combination of my job and my volunteering. I hope for next days and next weeks and next years, I also will have time to volunteer for ACI. Thank you for possibility to rejoice, because I've time to time I forget to do this.
Okay.
Thank you for your classes and possibility to rejoice and know about other people, good stories, events. Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. My pleasure. Okay, Lydia, what do you have to rejoice in today?
Thank you very much, dear Lama Sumati. I am rejoicing today that first, you remember I have a mole in my house. Mole.
Oh, yes.
Flying. And I decided to share my home with it, and I will free it maybe in spring when I open my window, and it will be not too cold. So I'm really rejoicing for that. I speak with them. Maybe it's crazy, but I
You
like
speak
I
moth?
like it. With mole, yes.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Well, you said, I'm assuming you're saying moth, not mole.
Maybe more.
Yeah. If you're
Yeah.
saying mole, that's a whole different story.
Okay.
What's the moth's name? Martha?
No, they don't have names, but
Oh, they've got to
I
have
will
names.
give.
Got to have names. Moth 1 and
Okay.
Moth 2. Okay. Well, good. Good. Thank you for making that decision. That's very Bodhisattva to share your house with them. And then the key is, when do you let them out so they don't freeze? But very good. Okay. Svetlana, what do you have to rejoice in?
Yeah, hello, the Venerable Sumati. Hello, everyone. I'd like to rejoice in 2 things. The first one is, although I was like busy schedule, etc., I found time in the morning to renew my altar and do even short meditation, but it's very good, and I'm rejoicing about it. And secondly, I'm rejoicing in kindness of my colleagues. They're so nice people, and they're coming from my seats, and I want to perpetuate it and rejoice it today. We are having like Pancake Week. It's like annual festival in Russia. Pancake is like a sun, so we are celebrating upcoming spring, and we decided to cook pancakes and bring it to the office to exchange with colleagues. And it was almost like the first time when I was cooking my pancakes. So they looked awful. For I consider them like disgusting, awful, and etc. and like was ready to tell that it will be okay if no one will try mine. Even me, I don't want to try it. Actually, I tried, yeah, but it was for me. It was okay. So I tried to bring honey, etc., and something. But guys were so open-minded. Even like boss, he tried my part of my pancake, and other guys also tried my pancakes and what I brought as well, like honey and some other syrup, and they like ate it, and it was so sweet, and we are all together, and they are feeding me, and one colleague cooked a vegetarian pancake, because for all of them it was with meat, but one special was for me, and it was so nice to exchange with each other. And that they accepted what I cooked. So I rejoice in such open-heartedness, friendship, and support of each other, and dedicate to harmony of our world, of every world, so that all Dharma teachers can be in strong health and everyone can be ultimately happy.
Wow, very good. So do you use maple syrup in Russia, or is that only an American? You
Uh,
use maple syrup? Okay.
I think it is possible to buy in the shop maple syrup.
So how can you go wrong with pancakes?
Ah, they were like thick,
Thick?
because Russians pancakes, they are very thin. They are very thin.
Okay.
And those which I cooked, they were quite thick, and
Okay.
they were too fried from bottom and from the
Okay.
up and down sides.
No,
Not so beautiful.
American pancakes are thick. The thin ones are crepes, and so well, good. I'm glad. I'm starting to like Russia more and more. You seem to have lots of food holidays. It's my kind of holiday. Okay. What do I have to reach? Oh, Daria. Can't forget Daria. Daria, what do you have to rejoice in?
Good morning, hello, everyone. I have three rejoices. Today we have a lot of snow. I love snow, but
That there can be too much.
and yeah, much. But I try to every day feed the birds at work near my window, and when children see these birds, oh, they say I see. I don't know how English. Penguins and not penguins, penguins and
Pigeons.
pigeons and
Not penguins.
finches. It's little. And a second rejoice. Oh, it's my angel. I have on my work, it's angel. Because I have a lot of mental affliction when I see her. And today I tried to stop and tried to not to complain about to her, and stopped. And I spoke with her about master class. Uh, Tomorrow we will have a master class with children, and we do some, I don't know how, Svetlana, поделки.
Some activities.
Oh,
Some
handmade?
activities, yeah.
Handmade.
Handmade, yes.
Handmade.
And it's very, I very rejoice because I tried to speak with her and I'm happy. I was happy.
Good. Good. You said you had three. That's two. What's your third one?
Yes, yesterday I attended the ACI meditation teachers course, And yesterday was the first class.
Well, you can teach me
Teachers
about
course.
meditation then.
No, again, it's
Who's
I'm
teaching the course?
it's Peter and Maria Myrtle.
Oh,
It's
sure.
his
Okay,
course. Yes.
sure. Okay. Well, good. So everybody had some good rejoicing. What about my rejoicing? Oh, I got a tip from Francisco Miranda about how to set up a microphone for our celebration so it won't interfere with the microphones that the musicians are using. He said to set up a cell phone on Zoom and have the cell phone be the microphone instead of a normal microphone. So I'm going to try that as an option. So things are starting to come together for the event. So that's one rejoicing. I found I'm proofreading an article I sent in. I'm going to give a lecture on an article on a subject I sent into this journal I write for, and I found some errors in the manuscript I'd sent in earlier, and I had inadvertently lost all of the data behind this document, this article, because of the two solid state hard drives that crashed. And I was hoping I'd had it saved. And I looked in my backup, and lo and behold, I did find it. So it was a miracle. Out of 9 terabytes of data, I was able to find this based on the title of one paper that I referenced. That boggles my mind. How else can I explain that but karma? There's no other way to explain it. So, but what I found out a little bit to my concern is I really enjoy the research aspects of writing those articles, trying to track down the information. I really enjoy that. And I'm going to have to do something to take that joy into my Dharma study, because I don't have the same joy in working on Dharma projects, at least the projects I have now. So I'm going to have to work on that. But it's nice to have found, I mean, I realize now that that is really something I love to do and I'm good at. So what else? Oh, I got my medical exam results back. I'm in reasonably good health. My cholesterol is too high, but that's too bad. I'm not going to give up cheese. I guess my wife will have something to say about that. My sister-in-law is coming for the celebration, so we're going to have 3 of the 5 kids from my wife's family will be part of the celebration. That's going to be a lot of fun. What else? Oh, I didn't get I had a spate of frustration where things just got really annoyed me the last couple of days. Not being able to open Ziploc bags, not having the dexterity that I used to have. And today I had issues, and yesterday I had issues with all that, and I didn't get frustrated. So when I get frustrated, I get mad at myself. And so I'm setting the mental seed to have a karma ripen I really don't want to have. So I was very glad I slipped back in the habit of not getting frustrated with myself. Oh, I know what else happened. We had a student come down and visit us yesterday. They brought lunch, and they just wanted to thank us, my wife and I, for being in their life. And that was very touching. Very touching. It really, really touched my heart. So I rejoice that we've helped this particular student greatly in their life. And that's a wonderful feeling, which I know all of you will have one day when you start teaching. Okay, let's get to class. You should all have, I'm sharing, right? You have yeah, okay. Get the mouse where it's supposed to be. Okay, Guided Bodhisattva's Way of Life, Part 2, Class 9. I can't believe we're almost done with the course. Perfection Meditation, Part 2. Treating others as yourself. Learning to treat others with the same concern as we treat ourselves. Equalizing and exchanging self and others is one of our techniques. Making a priority of making others happy rather than myself. That doesn't mean you can't make yourself happy, it just means they're the priority. For instance, last night, my wife was really not feeling well. She hadn't been sleeping the last couple of nights because of this chronic cough she has. She's just feeling lousy. And I came out of my room to get some coffee and I saw her starting to do the dishes. And she did not look happy. So I said, "Dear, go take a bath," which makes her happy, "and I'll do the dishes." And she said, "Really?" And I said, "Well, yeah." She goes, "Well, great." So she went and had a bath and felt much better. And I did the dishes, which is getting to be doing something as simple as doing the dishes is beginning to be a problem for me. But I did them. I did it with joy. And so it was a happy ending to the evening for my wife. And she did sleep well and she's feeling much better. It's a very holy practice to feel others' pain or happiness in the same way we feel about our own pain or happiness. I don't pretend to be able to understand your pain in the sense of, oh, I know it hurts or I'm anxious for you, but I can understand the fact that you're in pain, you're unhappy, and what can I do to help? So I can't imagine what it's like to have a broken arm, but I can hope trying to help someone with a broken arm feel better. You don't have to, it doesn't, to say you don't feel their pain so you can't do it is just an excuse when it's not, of course you can't feel their pain. You can't take on their karma, but you can be sensitive to the fact they're in pain. Again, the natural argument for this is you don't feel the pain for others. They don't feel my pain. Master Santideva says it doesn't matter. With practice, we can decide that someone else's pain is no longer something we can tolerate in the same way we decide that which of our pains are intolerable and worthy of action. Our habit of our boundary with me is the only barrier to success here. So why are we studying this in the chapter on meditation? He's trying to drive into our thick skulls that meditation is just a tool. The object of the meditation is critical for the tool to be useful, particularly useful towards gaining our own enlightenment. So I repeat, meditation is just a tool. The object of the meditation is critical for the tool to be useful. So we're training ourselves to reach samatha or shine, and be able to focus our mind on a direct perception of emptiness. This being the case, we must turn to the highest and most powerful practice, that of treating others as we treat ourselves. Other people think of meditation posture without really understanding the topic is more important if you want to get anywhere. Suppose you say the reason why you don't protect them is their pain doesn't hurt you. Why then do you protect yourself from future pain, since it doesn't do hurt to you either? The future pain hasn't happened yet. Your idea that you do so because you think to yourself that you will have to experience it is all wrong, because a person who's already died is one person, and the one who's taken birth is altogether another one. Suppose you say the reason why you don't protect them is that their pain doesn't hurt you. Why then do you protect yourself from future pain, since it doesn't do hurt to you either? Your idea that you do so because you think to yourself that you will have to experience is all wrong, because the person who's already died is one person, and the one who's taken birth is another. And suppose that any particular pain we were only something a particular one had to care about this. If this were the case, then a pain in the foot would be nothing for the hand. So why then does the hand care? Suppose you say that although that's wrong, you engage in this case due to the fact that you hold on to a self. You're thinking things are self-existent, so you don't have to react to others' pain. This self and other, though, are very wrong, and nothing but something you should reject with all the strength you have. This is Master Shantideva's second reply to the argument we cannot feel others' pain, so how can we possibly treat their pain with the same concern as our own? The first stanza is classic prasangika, the sarcastic response that can lead the opponent to the correct conclusion if they think it through. Why then protect yourself from a future pain, since it likewise does not hurt you? If you know something bad is likely to happen later in the day, you do what you can now to avoid that situation. You are helping someone else, your future self, even though you cannot feel that future self's pain. Seems silly, naive. Stop and look more closely, since we know that neither Master Shantideva or Lord Buddha would waste our time on something that's silly. Think of the 401k retirement plan. You put money that's matched by your employer into the care of someone that does not yet exist. To me, at age 65. So, boy, I was teaching this almost 10 years ago. I cannot know of his poverty, my health and my poverty in 10 years from then. So why am I concerned? Why do you bother to do any good deeds at all? That's a legitimate question. The good deeds of this life are not likely to ripen in this lifetime. So in the future, when they ripen, the future person is not even born yet. They will be totally different than you are now. But the point is, if you do good deeds now, the environment you're born into is a wonderful place to live. But they are the same mind stream. The mind I have now and the mind I have next life are connected by the mind stream. They're not the same mind, but they are connected via the mind stream. Stanza 2. The idea that you do so because you think to yourself that you will have to experience it is all wrong, because the person who has already died is one person, and the one who's taken birth is another. The beings you get help now are only a few feet away, or at most 23,000 miles away, somewhere else on the planet. Yet the future you, the next life, could be on another planet in an entire new universe. So Master Shantideva says, you're not being illogical in your desire to not consider others. Stanza 3. And suppose that any particular pain were only something to a particular one had to care about. If this were the case, then the pain in my foot would be nothing for the hand. So why does it care? There's this boundary thing. Inside the boundary we care because we consider it to be part of our body, part of our responsibility. And outside the boundary we don't care. If you could walk along and get a thorn in your foot, why does your hand reach down to remove the thorn? The thorn is the foot's problem. The hand is the hand's problem. Sounds silly, but it's no different than saying this one me has no responsibility for that one's care. Again, again, and again. It's just a matter of defining a boundary. Maybe you now can see how inconsistent we can be. We naturally reach with our hand to remove the thorn, but we refuse to extend that same natural assistance to our neighbor or coworker who we disagree with. Stanza 4. Now he's rubbing it in. Suppose you say, although that's wrong, you engage in this case due to the fact that you hold on to a self. The self and other, though, are very wrong, and nothing but something you should reject with all the strength you have. Contemplation 20. We're only what we control. The thing we call a continuum and a collection are unreal. So like a string of things or an army, that of one with suffering doesn't exist at all. So who is he that could ever control it? Since the one who owns a pain does not exist, there can be no distinction among them than any. If something is a kind of pain, then it's something to be removed. What it's used to say it's fixed here. You can't continue your argument of asking why the pains of all are something you must stop. If you're going to stop it, then you must stop all of it. If not, then minds like other beings. Collection of parts like our body. It takes a collection of parts to make a thing. Left, right, up, down, front, back. I think we can all agree with that. Master Shantideva says, collection of parts are unreal and artificial. Why? The pen is a fake. It's unreal because it's a collection of parts. What do you mean? Hand does feel the pain of the foot. They're a collection of parts that are me. My mind covers my head to my feet. I'm aware of what is going on with my entire body. Okay, so I can't be aware of someone else's body. Master Shantideva says, wrong. That is not true. An army is a collection of soldiers of all types, abilities, positions, etc. They're gathered together for a certain purpose, and together they are considered this army. By whom? Who decides what they are called? It takes a collection of parts to make a thing, left, right, up, down, front, and back. Master Shantideva says, collection of parts are unreal and artificial. Why? Well, consider the pen. The pen is a fake. It's unreal because it's a collection of parts. What are we talking about? The hand does feel the pain of the foot. They are a collection of parts that are me. My mind covers my head to my feet, and I'm aware of what is going on in my entire body. Okay, so I can't be aware of someone else's body. Master Shantideva says that's wrong. It's not true. An army. So who decides what they're called? We decide the name based on past experience, the bottom line, karma. But it's not self-existent in an army, just like the pen is not a self-existent pen. Since the objects have no nature of their own from their own side, our minds decide, forced by karma to. So the idea of me made of parts is artificial. My mind has decided that forced by my karma, but not due to it coming from the body. This boundary we call our body is artificial. So it can change the boundary through changing our karma by expanding our boundary to others, which is equally artificial, but its consequences are mind-boggling. So take the time to exchange yourself with your mother or father or siblings and really do it seriously. They don't have to be involved because this doesn't really involve them reacting to what you're saying. That may be heretical on my part, but I have long since given up being thanked for what I do. I am often thanked for it, but if I don't get the thanks, I don't go home and cry or pout. I just say, okay, that person hasn't taken the time, hasn't taken the Buddhist course on exchanging self and others. Because if he or she had, they would not have a harsh word to say. The ability to care for all others' needs as much as your own. What is that? That's Buddhahood. Which is more intelligent, taking care of your own needs or those of others? The first has brought only continued samsaric suffering. It is dysfunctional. How? Me can include everyone. Cook it. Think about it. Me can include everyone. Mental stream through time. Sumati comes from birth to death as a mental stream through time. Does it make sense that Sumati goes through K through 12 so he can go to college and then grad school and then get a job at university? Should one part of our mental stream throughout time take care of another part? Sure. It's our mental stream. I will suffer in the future life if I do not take care of the seeds of my future self now, conventionally. If I don't make enough money to have retirement, I will not have enough money in my old age. So I should go to college. I should get a good job. I should make the money to save for my old age. Duh. Master Shantideva says, your concept of your body is unreal, and it's a collection of parts which your mind covers and is concerned about. but it stops at the edge of your parts. A string of things like a rosary necklace or a string of future lives. One bead is not a rosary, but string many beads together and it is. Me at 10 is not my life, but me as 10 and 11 and 20 and 30 and 40, that's my life. The accumulated years. When your future life occurs, your current life won't exist. It's only our conception that creates the impression of your same stuff streaming on. If you invest your money, some future old geezer may be rich and then suffer and die in misery. It doesn't mean not take care of yourself and take care of everybody else. To me, it means take care of yourself so that you can help everybody else. It's like the ferry boat, Bodhisattva, where Lord, the three types. There's the ferry boat captain, he'll do it and take you all to enlightenment after he's done. Or, let's see, what's the other two? He'll wait until you get to enlightenment, so you all reach enlightenment before he or she does. And the third, you'll go to enlightenment together. But if you get away, your resources can lead you to enlightenment. Take care of yourself simply doesn't work. It's dysfunctional. Get used to the idea that you have to be looking out to help others. That doesn't mean you have to give them your life saving. That's not the point. You need to do all this with a feeling of joy. If you have a moment's regret for having done something, that's bad, because that shows that you doubt the veracity of the teaching. But so like I said, you don't have to. The instruction is not to give up your current wealth or position. The instruction is to see how your wealth and position now can affect the most people for your future. So does this mean a stream, I'm self-existently in the stream? No, it is artificial. It is arbitrary. We define ourselves at a certain time as a certain person, and likewise other people, forced by our karma. The boundary of myself over the string of moments that are called me is arbitrary. You exist only broadly as you conceive yourself to exist. In fact, your very broad conception of yourself as all beings is also unreal. It's an illusion, but it functions quite well, and you need to have engagement with it to get enlightened, and even in the temporary pleasures of this life. Contemplation 21, the power of habit. By accustoming ourselves to the idea you have learned to think of a few drops of semen and blood that belong to other people as being yourself, even though there's no such thing at all. So we believe to some extent that we're our parents until we start getting other ideas. And we really, we can show that's wrong, because the semen and blood may come from them, but it doesn't when it fertilizes an egg, it doesn't guarantee anything. Why then do you say you cannot do this, exchanging self and others? Think of the bodies of other people as being yourself, as yourself as well. And there isn't any difficulty in deciding that the bodies of sufferers are your own body as well. You can conceive yourself of anything through habit and practice. You could identify through habitation with the happiness and suffering, habituation with happiness and suffering of others, just like you care for your own in reality. You and the projection, you and they are projections of karma anyway. So this all comes down to karma. If you believe in karma and emptiness, helping others be free from their pain, it's just such a logical next step. Not wishing it, doing something about it. We need to redefine our boundaries. I challenge you to try it seriously and intensely and see for yourself. It will work. It doesn't mean you get yourself into a dangerous situation. Now, if you go into Central Park in New York at late at night and you have $100 bills hanging out your wallet, your pockets to give away to helpless, homeless people, you'll find pretty soon that someone wants all that money and doesn't care about the good that it could do. When you think of your hands and such, you do consider them all part of your body. So why then don't you consider every creature as a body as being one of the parts of the body of all living kind? Well, I could see that. Because you've gotten used to it, you're able to think it's mine of this body, which actually has no self. Why do you then say you could never learn to think of others as me if you got used to it? If you could then, you would never feel that it's as strange nor conceited when you work for others. You don't expect congratulations from yourself whenever you eat dinner for yourself. So that's as pedantic as we can get. Being a bodhisattva and exchanging yourself for others is better than something that you look to in the morning, and that's taking care of yourself. It's eating dinner or breakfast or whatever. For that reason, you must get used to a state of mind where you protect all beings and sow thoughts of compassion as well, protecting them just as the same way that you protect yourself from pain, the very least unkind word. To be clear, it is the intention and effort to help others. The apparent outcome of efforts is not up to us. Example, Lord Buddha has perfected the perfection of giving, and there are still hungry people around. So never get upset when the person you're trying to help with you tells you to go to hell. When you get good at this, thinking of others as yourself, and someone congratulates you for doing such an amazing job, you may wonder what they're talking about. You don't look for praise when you lead yourself, and in the same way, when you feed yourself, in the same way that bodhisattvas care for others, he and she does not expect praise. the ideal, absolutely ideal thing to do as a bodhisattva is do something nice for somebody else and not have them know who did it. Now, in many instances, you can't do that. Opening the door for a little old lady or man and helping them out, they don't know your name. But the bigger projects, for instance, I worked at Diamond Mountains as the operations manager. I don't tell people I put the water system in unless the subject comes up. Because of your attachment to your body, you feel great feelings of fear for the little frightening thing, since his body then is a source of terror. Who then wouldn't despise it like they would some hated enemy? We spend our lives to find a technique of curing these illnesses in the body, which is what we're studying now. Hunger, thirst, and the rest. To do so, we slaughter birds and fish and wild beasts of the forest too. We lay in wait at the crossroads. Well, that's one reason to be a vegetarian. You're not curing countless well, I was a vegetarian till 1998. So that's almost 30 years against the 50 or 60 years that I had earlier. We spend our lives to find a technique of curing these illnesses of the body, hunger, thirst, and the rest. To do so, we slaughter birds and fish and wild beasts of the forest too. We stay in late and work and wait at the crossroads. So I think what this stand is telling me is to think about what you're doing and make sure it's the best you could be doing for the circumstance. With children, you have to have a job. So you have to make sure the job is something that will be conducive to helping your children, but helping the people. You're not only getting a job for the money, you're getting a job to help that person or persons or company solve problems. So if you look at it in that way, getting a paying job has all the more merit to it than a volunteer job has in many ways. I found in my life as a consultant, people would hire me to consult on something. I would give them my opinion, and they'd always have arguments as to why my opinion wasn't worth anything. I'd always get paid, but I thought, how odd that they would create a situation and not be interested in the well-being of their employees. I just find that. Well, I like the idea of a pancake breakfast. I think that's a wonderful way to tie people together. For profit and win, the honor others give us. We would even kill our parents, stealing also the things belonging to the triple jewel and passing on to burn in hell of endless torment. What wise man could ever then desire this body, take care of it, and make unto it offerings? Who is it that we wouldn't see the body as the enemy, who then not disdain it? Bodhisattvas are always put others first in line. You're in bed with the enemy if you think that you will miss out if you do any of this. The enemy is the attachment to our needs, our body, and what it has caused us to do in our past. Killing animals, stealing from others, killing our own parents, laying traps for other people. These all ripen as scary things in our lives. The unpleasantness of the lower realm. Our body is the source of all this terror, so don't do bad deeds for others. It is not worth it. Take care of your body, but don't be a slave to it. Contemplation 27. If I use it myself, what will I have to give to others? Thinking of yourself and saying, I give, what will I have for me? If I give, what will I have for me? Is nothing but demonic. To think of others and to say, if I use this for myself, what will I give? This is angel dharma. Others are the first priority, but we must be careful. We may not give away any more than we are comfortable with. To give and have regret is worse than not giving at all. Rate the level of what we would give. The total amount of happiness that exists in the world today has come from wanting to make others happy. The total amount of suffering that exists in the world today has come from wanting to make myself happy. That says it all. It really does say it all for me. The total amount of happiness that exists in the world has come from wanting to make others happy. The total amount of suffering that exists in the world has come from wanting to make myself happy. Usually that means at the expense of others. That's the difference. I can make myself happy by teaching. But that's not the expense of others. That's my task. So again, when we're thinking of helping others, we need to put in perspective where and what they are, what's happening in their life. How can we help them in their current situation? There's no good helping someone for 20 years in their future. Although having said that, that's what you're doing with your children. That's what your parents did with you as a child. They thought of your future and what it would take to make your future as bright as possible. Having a college degree, well, in the United States before World War before the Vietnam War, having a college degree was pretty important to get a job. Then all the people were protesting Vietnam and got on the campus with what was called a 4S deferment. If you had a 4S deferment, they couldn't draft you. So early in my college career, let's see, where was I? I was in Davis. My sister heard that my lottery number was in the 300s, so I wasn't going to be called up for the Vietnam War. So that was, excuse me. Go stop it. So that was before the Vietnam War. Where was I going with this? Oh, so going to college, getting a degree was tantamount to having a pretty good job when he got out of college. Then with the Vietnam War, men in particular, started to go to college to get the student deferment so they couldn't get drafted. But they had no real interest in being in college. It was just a way to not be drafted. And that's when it sort of watered down the power of having a college degree. And it's been that way ever since. Now, having a college degree may not help you get a job. It may hinder it, because I applied for jobs earlier in my life where I was overqualified for it, but it was going to get me into the system. I wanted to be in a crime lab and analyzing evidence. I thought that would be a fascinating job. I had all the degrees and everything, but I didn't have a degree in criminology, so I was going to have to start at the very lowest level as a PhD. Start at the lowest level, dishwashing, just get me into the lab. And that was a threat to many. I applied to more than one job where I was more educated than my boss, and that was a threat to them. I hired a co-worker to work with me on the Biosphere 2 project, and Bob was several years older than me. So I asked him, I said, I can't use age as discrimination. I'm just curious, how will you work with a boss that's younger than you? And he basically said, if you don't make any stupid decisions, I'll be fine with it. So I was being honest. We ended up being very good friends, and we worked well together. What need is there for many worlds? The children of this world work for their own sake. The able Buddhas do their labor for the sake of others. Come and see the difference. So, we spent today trying to go over all the reasons not to do it, to help others, and all the reasons to help others, and how it can be reflexive. I think in our heart of hearts, humans want to help others. But we've let other people convince ourselves otherwise. I just think children of today that can be exposed to Buddhism have so much potential in the rest of their life to do wonderful things for themselves and for society. That's going to be interesting. Several of my students have young children, and I know some of them reasonably well. My wife and I were talking about this last night. We're not going to see them grow up. Because 20 or 30 years from now, when they're doing something responsible, I doubt I'll be around. I could be, but I doubt it. So that makes me sad in many ways, but also, I look at it this way. I will be around and I will see them. I just won't know it. So, okay. Well, that's it for class. Next class this is number 9, right? Yeah. Next class is number 10, then we do the review. You have a frown on your face, Svetlana, am I right?
I'm sorry, what on the face?
Well, you were frowning. This is class 9, so we have
Yeah.
one more class. So who else is going to want to participate in the final? We don't have any students here. Okay. Shinar, you don't have to be answering questions in the final. That's okay. I'm kidding. Okay. So what I will do is I'll make up a list of the questions you'll be responsible for. And Daria, are you going to participate in the final? Okay. So it'll be 3 of you. Okay. I'll get that ready and send that to you later today, so you have some time to prepare. And I encourage you to look at the questions and answer them in your own words if you can. That's a good way to see if you understand the concept. Okay, so that'll be not Monday, but next Thursday. Okay. Good to see you all. Let's do our dedication. I'll do a different dedication this morning. May the source of goodness and benefit, the Dharma, spread and expand. May the beings upholding the Dharma have excellent health. May the source of happiness and well-being for all embodied beings, the Dharma's taught by the Buddha, always increase. In all my lives, may I never live apart from my perfect wellness. May I bask in the glory of the Dharma. May I fulfill perfectly every level and path and reach then quickly a place where I become myself, the one who holds the diamond. Okay. Love you all. See you next Monday. Have a good weekend.
Thank you so much, dear Lama Sumati. Please stay, please continue to teach us.
Well, that's my intent. We'll find out.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.